This is Boxes and Briefs, a podcast with real-life business stories. But we will be asking the hard questions and challenging traditions. So broaden your thinking with fresh perspectives and solve problems for business success. And welcome to another episode of Boxes and Briefs. My name's Lisa.
I'm Lucy.
And today we have with us Paul. Good old Paul Stockton. Paul is the Managing Director of Control Shift. It's a company specialising in working with designers and providing them with web development, hosting and support. So he's a website guy. With over 6 years leading the company and a background in various IT roles, read that as being a geek, Paul brings a wealth of experience creating effective business websites built to the highest standard. So this is none of your run-of-the-mill build your own website stuff. This is the top stuff.
Somewhat, yeah. So it's custom designed.
Custom designed, okay.
Nice.
That's the word that we'll use.
Yeah.
So your company is Control Shift. Tell us a little bit about how it came to be.
Oh, so the origin of Control Shift. My best friend, who happened to be my cousin as well, Sean Timmerland, we decided, let's start a business.
Why?
We were actually frustrated with the cowboys in the industry.
True. There's so many.
Unfortunately, they are.
And the thing is, they make all of these promises and then
Correct.
it doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
Or they take your money, give you somewhat of what you need, but not the rest. And then if you want the rest, you've got to pay more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's common occurrence. We do a lot of rescue operations. So,
Okay.
promising and not delivering is
Yep.
one of the main ones. And the other is the developers just disappearing.
And did this happen to you, and that's why you started the company, or
Didn't.
just hearing
So
about it?
Sean was in the web industry. He was a developer for another company. He had just seen a lot of it in that world.
Okay.
I was in the IT industry working as a systems engineer, just building servers and looking after them. And we decided, let's put our skills together so I can manage the websites, host them, make sure they're fast, responsive, all those good things. And he can make sure they're built to the highest standard.
Love it.
Yeah.
Because
Cool.
there's this black hole in marketing to do with websites that nobody talks about. And that's when something goes wrong, someone will blame the domain.
Yeah.
Somebody else will blame, oh no, let's talk to the IT guy or the email guy. And then somebody else, no, talk to the developer. Well, where is the site hosted? Maybe something's happened with the hosting.
Yeah.
And there's this black hole where people don't understand what does what. And everybody points the finger and takes ages to get the problem fixed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So we like to be that sole support call
Yeah.
center for people to come to, which, we take pride in. And we actually prefer forming relationships with our clients rather than just being another number.
Yeah.
So they give us a call and we know their backstory, we can help them.
Love that.
Yeah.
About time. Okay, so when it comes to building your own website for your own business, whether you engage or you're trying to do it yourself, what are the overview, the essential elements that a good website should have?
Kind of an interesting answer to this. I'd say you want the right team behind you.
Yes.
It's not addressing what you should have as a website, how it
Yes.
looks, but you will want your designer
Yes.
who knows what they're doing. You want your content creator, someone who can actually help you in that section. That's probably one of the hardest points coming to websites. And then you need it built well, and you will want someone to support it. And that's where we come in. So we'll build it and we'll support what we build.
The thing is, when a business decides to buy a website, there's usually one person that they're buying the site from, whether it's a salesperson or it's somebody who does it themselves and it's their own business. So how do you look for that person to be someone who's telling the truth? What are you going to look for to know that they can build a good website?
A very obvious one is just go to Google reviews.
Okay.
If they have got something set up which has got a bunch of reviews, you can probably find red flags in there if they aren't trustworthy. The biggest mistake a lot of people do is they think they can do it themselves, or they get their uncle's cousin's friend.
Who
who's a
then goes
plumber
away
that
on
can-
an OE.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've literally heard that this week. It's
Oh,
like, my
no.
developer's in Bali now.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, and this
Yeah.
person's actually scared to engage with anyone else.
Yeah.
So just we've got an address, we've got an office, they can come find us.
Yes.
Legit come
I mean, I asked the question of what should a website have, meaning, a menu, good navigation,
Yeah.
something to do with the homepage, thinking about the customer journey and what they're going to click on next. And your answer was completely different to what I was looking for. You said a team.
Yeah.
But actually, I have found that like a developer who does a design will often go, look, the button changes color when you click it. And the designer's going, yes, but it's red and their company color is blue. Like there's just each person in your team does what they do well.
Correct. Specialises.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's the designer who will work out what it should look like, what the journey the customer's going on.
Actually, it's the designer who works with a marketer usually. So you get the marketer who will do something. It's a buzzword, but it's CRO.
Okay.
It means
Which is?
conversion rate optimizing.
Okay.
Right.
The layman's way of explaining it is they tell you where to put the buttons to get people to go through your site, navigate it easily, and ultimately convert to getting in touch.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, that's a massive step.
Yeah, that's
that
almost
gets
like
missed.
a psychology thing, right? Where is that person going
Yeah,
to look?
yeah,
What are they going to be
interesting.
attracted to?
There you go. And the
Right.
marketers have tools. They
Yep.
can put a tool or a script in that actually follows where people go through the website.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can be like, okay, cool. People go here, but they're finding nothing and just leaving.
Right.
So they go, cool, let's put a call to action, like a contact us, or you want to find out more, go here. So that's
Okay.
where you get the designer.
That's the journey.
Exactly. So you've got the designer who, yes, they could have a background in user experience, or they might just make things pretty, which is good, but they will need that marketing person's mind to come in and say, this is what you should do to get that journey for this client.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much should a business expect to pay for a website that takes a team into account?
That's a very good question. It depends exactly what they want. If they want a brochure site,
Yep.
I can pull a figure out, but probably around 10,000 is
Okay.
a good place to start.
Yep.
Is a brochure site just like a sort of simple
Exactly, yeah.
layout?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a website that doesn't have a shop. It hasn't got
Okay.
extra functionality, which is outside of the norm. It's in some ways a credibility piece
Yeah.
where you go to it. It's got your brochure of your services, projects about.
If word of mouth is the biggest form of marketing, what's going to happen when they hear about you is they're going to go and Google you,
100%.
and you want your website to show up, and
Yeah.
then that's where they get an impression of your company.
Okay.
So that's why it's worth spending money on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, because a lot of startups obviously won't have a 10 grand budget
Yeah.
to use. So often businesses go through a cycle of they'll start with something simple and basic, and then they'll learn lessons, and then they'll be ready for the next one.
Yeah.
So if somebody is starting small, will they always have to start again? Or is there somewhere they can start small that will grow with them?
In some ways, no. They could start small. This is where templates come in.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a pre-built template. Start when you have low capital. Get that, put your content in, just get something up there that's credible. So if
Yeah.
someone with word of mouth comes along, they'll see you exist.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, this is great. It's
Yeah.
a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
So you build your credibility, and then you get your business going. And once you start getting capital, that's when you invest. You make sure your brand is fully on point.
Yeah.
You've got your colors, you've got your messaging, extremely important. You
Yep.
need to figure out your target audience. If you don't know that, you don't know who you're actually targeting.
Yeah.
And that's when the designer comes in and you've got your content creators.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what are the common mistakes that business owners will make with their websites?
Thinking they can do it themselves.
Yeah.
That's one
I
of the
mean, it's a
biggest-
catch-22, isn't it? Because sometimes you just don't have the money and you've got to do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want the journey to happen,
Mm.
if you want the experience so that they actually call you, fill in the form, do something,
Mm-hmm.
then you are taking them on a journey, and that requires investment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
just jumping into the unknown, really. Sometimes
Yeah.
people will go, okay, cool, let's invest in this website. Okay, I don't know if it's going to do anything. And that's when you need your team to reassure you and say, listen, we're going to create something for you that will get your customers going on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can look at marketing. And these are the return on investment figures that we expect. And that's what should be
That's
the support
unusual.
you have in your background.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. If I invest $1,000, I should get 10 back. But that's speaking to the marketing side, and that's digital marketers. But that's what we'd expect.
Okay.
Okay.
It's good because when it comes to cowboys,
Yeah.
there's often no promises.
Oh, they don't think about that.
No.
Yeah.
So
And
you guys are thinking with the end in mind.
yes, exactly. So we actually just want to create a solution for the client that actually has a positive outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, we do a lot of rescue operations, it seems, from these cowboys.
Yeah.
We've had one recently that's come across, and their contact form was never connected. So they've come across and they're so surprised. They're like, oh, we're getting inquiries. That's, to me, that's a bare minimum.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I enjoy that, cleaning out the sites, making
Yeah.
sure they work properly.
Yep.
Saving the day.
Exactly, yeah.
Boxes and Briefs is proudly brought to you by Gilligan Shepherd, the problem solvers in business.
Okay, Paul, give us the answers between a custom design, that's what you guys do,
Yeah.
versus using the templates, which you might have to do if you're on a smaller budget.
Mm-hmm.
But what else should people be wary of when choosing between the two?
Sure, yeah. When it comes to templates, I still believe they have their place,
Yeah.
especially when a company doesn't have the capital.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Buy the template, put it up, put your content in. It's a low cost entry.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is to be aware that these templates are pre-built and you have got a developer who's created the theme. So it does depend how long the developer is interested in updating this theme, because you've got, in particular, WordPress,
Yep.
who have updates probably once a month.
Hmm.
And if the developers decided, I don't feel like updating this theme, WordPress has an update, things start to fall apart.
Yep.
So we've had people with as little as 1 year out of their theme.
Okay.
The other side is the theme probably doesn't match their branding, doesn't match their
Right.
voice, doesn't have a journey to it.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the specialists in mind to create that custom design that speaks the language, looks, feels apart. You want to have people coming to your website
Yeah.
who have talked to you, or if not, and when they meet you, it's the same language. It feels the same. If it's not, they usually get a bit untrustworthy.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
It feels like you're speaking to something fake,
Exactly.
or that it wasn't real online, or
It's
which
not the
one's
person
true.
I saw,
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So-
is it true that with templates and things that often the developer can spend more time turning things off?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that can end up being where the cost is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are very hard to manipulate sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if things are hard coded. You can ask the developer, "Oh, cool. Can you go and update this button?" It might be hard coded somewhere that's just it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It could take them an hour and a half just to change one simple thing.
Yeah.
The other side is there's a lot of something called code bloat. So if it's been coded by a theme, they usually put a lot more code in it than that's needed.
Right.
And that'll slow the website down, which leads to conversions dropping when people visit your site.
Yeah.
They find this website slow, I'm going to leave.
Yep.
And Google penalizes you and puts you lower down in the rankings.
Right.
Yeah,
So not good to have a slow website.
not at all.
No.
But yeah, there is a place. So yeah, you build
Yeah.
your credibility. That's
Well,
the best thing to do.
Speaking of code, is
Yes.
that I've kind of had it described that every developer speaks, let's say, Chinese, but there's different dialects and different regions and
Yeah.
accents within it, and English learned it as a second language Chinese.
Yeah.
So when it comes to knowing whether you've got someone who speaks good code, how do you figure that out?
You usually have to look under the bonnet. Yes,
Right.
we have come across WordPress sites where we've kind of adopted, but then you find the practices that were used, and it's a mess.
Is there a standard in the industry for what's good?
Unfortunately, no.
So it's completely like unregulated.
Yeah, that's where you get the cowboys coming
Oh,
in, and then
right.
they just throw things in. They might Google something and be like, "This looks right," put it in.
Right.
Inefficient, and then that's when the custom one comes in.
Yeah.
Then you find your trusted developer, look through your reviews and word of mouth,
Yep.
even though that could be a bit iffy sometimes, because in the tech world, not everyone knows what is
To
good.
look for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with us, you get the custom design, custom development,
Yep.
which means you get that clean code a lot faster. There's two ways. You can do WordPress, which personally I wouldn't call custom developed. WordPress is built utilizing plugins and page builders.
Yeah.
Okay.
But going away from the template, which locks you in. You can use something like Elementor, if you've ever heard of that.
Yep.
You've got Divi, you've got all these ones out there.
These are all things that plug into WordPress that help with the content.
Exactly, and essentially to make it work.
Yeah.
WordPress used to be just a blogging platform back in the day.
Yes.
And now you get plugins to make it do what you want.
Yes.
And then if you
So
go
it's kind of like having a phone, and then there's all of these apps that you can put into your phone.
Exactly.
Same kind of thing.
And then there's a unfortunate side where people add every plugin they want, and each one slows down the site.
Right.
Yep.
It's more code.
Or
and
they
that's
have
a-
arguments.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. A bunch of conflicting.
Instructions.
code.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's another side with the theme is if you've got 50 plugins, you're probably not using half of them, but you don't know. We did a lot of clean outs of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, a WordPress site built with Elementor from a blank theme. That's perfect. That's what we do. And
Okay.
we can make it look like the design. Or if you want custom coded website that doesn't have the plugins, it's just coded for you. The content management system in the back end is created for your company. It's easy to use. Yeah, we can do that too.
Is
It's
it a huge price jump to get that?
sometimes I'd say usually double, but it
Okay.
really depends what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can easily get
How long is a piece of string kind of
Exactly.
thing? Yeah.
But if you get a coded site like that, you can get hundreds across the board with Google Page Insights. Yeah, it's just you can make it as
You can get what you want.
exactly.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can follow
Worth
a
it.
design to the exact widths and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what emerging trends in websites do you foresee?
Trends, I would say, is the CRO, the conversion rate optimizing.
Right?
So, like I mentioned to you guys, the designers should work with a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, designers are usually all about creating something beautiful and
Yes.
amazing. It might not
It
convert.
looks good.
You want someone to give you some guidance of like,
Yeah.
this is how it'll convert, or this is where we should send people. So yeah, conversion rate optimizing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably going to be a new job soon where people just
Might
do
be.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems to be more the
Just like SEO became separate
Yeah.
from websites and everything else.
it's the SEO guys that are picking this up.
Ah,
And
okay.
the SEM, which is a search engine marketing like Google Ads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with, AI now dipping its fingers into all of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. CRO still has to understand human interaction for it to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is your biggest advice when looking to redo a website?
Oof. Make sure your branding is 100%. Your messaging, you know exactly who you're targeting.
What do you mean by 100%? How can a brand not be 100%?
It might not represent your company. You could have created it in word art.
I
you'd need to
see.
chat
Okay,
to-
okay.
I would
Yep.
recommend chatting to a designer that can get you branding guidelines, which is
Mm-hmm.
your colors, your fonts, and then you want that consistent throughout. This can go through Facebook, on
Yep.
your vans.
Why is that important?
Just create consistency, and then you create a branding trust and brand awareness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you think of big brands out there, you see
Yes, Cadbury, for
Cadbury?
example, with purple.
Yeah, I mean, you just see that and you
Yeah.
recognize it and you trust and you're like, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Or
don't.
you-
It doesn't matter about the price when you know. Oh, it's Cadbury. You
Exactly.
can trust it.
When you look at Spark now, you
Yeah.
recognize the logo.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a scribble.
I think it's $1 million scribble.
I think it's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, it's brand awareness, and you want to create that. But if you think of, let's say, Spark, and they had the scribble, and then it had it different somewhere else,
Yep.
that consistency doesn't work.
Mm.
Yeah. So you just want to have that 100%,
Mm-hmm.
and then get your guidelines, get your fonts, colors, figure out who you want to talk to, who you want to target, and then get into the web design.
Okay.
Because if you do it
Right.
backwards, it's very
So the
difficult.
first person that a business owner should talk to
Yeah,
is
the designer.
the designer, not the
Yes.
marketer.
No, talk
No.
to the designer.
Designer
Get the
first.
marketer. Make sure if you have a good one that is
Okay.
connected and chatting to the designer.
Yeah.
Because the worst part is if you get a website developed after it's been designed and then the marketer's like, let's make some changes, it gets a bit costly.
Expensive. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time with us,
No
Paul. I'm
problem.
sure we've learnt a lot in a world that is a little bit scary to undertake if you're not from that technology side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome. And if our listeners want to get a hold of you anyway, how do they do that?
That'll be best through our website.
Okay.
And yeah, we have a free website audit tool that you can play
Ooh.
around with on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the website's controlshift.co.nz.
Yes, but spelt fully, so control, not CTROL.
Okay, got it. All right. Thanks
Excellent.
again.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Boxes and Briefs is proudly brought to you by Gilligan Shepherd, the problem solvers in business.